Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 4.24. Now in this particular Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is helping us to understand what exactly is the purpose of the Chitta and why does the Chitta appear to be such a well-designed, well-oiled machine almost. It has its own sort of structure. So why does that happen and what can we say about that in correlation to the Purusha? So let's take a good look at this particular sutra, start breaking it up word by word and understanding it a little bit better. So the sutra itself goes, Tada Sankhyeya Vasana Bhishchitra Mapi Pararthan Sanhatya Karitvat. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's start breaking it up word by word to understand it even better and look at the meanings of each of the words. So the first word in this particular sutra is tat, which refers to that. Then we come to the next word, which is asankhya. Now, asankhya means innumerable, something that cannot be counted. So, means not, sankhya or sankhya means numericals or the counting scheme of particular numericals. So, asankhya means something that cannot be counted. Then the next word is vasana. Now, vasana is something we have studied in the previous sutras, and this particular vasana is talking about our wishes or our subliminal desires that come up because of our karmas and our karmashaya. So this is the vasanas. Then coming to chitra. Now, chitra is a slightly different word. Don't confuse it with chitta. Chitra over here is talking about something that is quite differentiated, quite heterogeneous in nature. And the word, within the books that we follow is given as variegated, but it essentially means that it's well differentiated. Then coming to the next word, it is api. Now, api refers to even then. After that, we have the next word, which is parartha. Now, parartha is very important because this is what indicates to us that the Purusha is involved in the sutra. Because parartha is para, the other, and artha, for. So, for the other's sake or for the other. And that's what we have as parartha. Then coming to the next word, we have samhati. Now here this means a collection, a togetherness, a bringing together of certain things. And then finally we go towards karitva. Karitva means production or creation. Kar is from the word karya or to do something, and karitva indicates production or creation. So now that we have the meaning of each of these different words, let's think a little bit more deeply about what does it signify and what exactly is it trying to tell us. So basically it's saying that the chitta has a lot of different vasanas that constantly keep coming up. It's quite a differentiated sort of chitta because there's so many different vasanas and so many different experiences that make it, so very different. But now that we know that, we might feel, is there any order to this? So what the sutra is trying to tell us is actually the chitta is pretty ordered. There's a lot going on within that particular chitta. The vasanas come up with a particular order and a much larger scheme of things, which is what we tie into then our karma, free will, destiny, all of those metaphysical questions come into the picture. But essentially, it is believed that the chitta has a certain organization. The vasanas don't just come up randomly, they have a particular order based on the action, the reaction, certain laws of nature. And once we understand that, we can get really fascinated because we're like, wow, the chitta is super organized. Like, there's an order to these things. It's not random. So once we realize that things are not random, they're very, very much in conjunction with a higher purpose, we then start to think about what could this higher purpose be. And that's where this is telling us that all these actions are being done for the sake of the other. Now, the only other in this particular equation is the Purusha. So it can be said in many ways that Chitta is undergoing all of these different things to eventually at some point become a replica of the Purusha and, completely merge into universal consciousness. But this takes a very long process, a lot of time. And sometimes we still get stuck in the cycle of birth and death because there's no release from it. So therefore, this sutra is trying to tell us that there is a very prominent organization. There's a scheme of things that is going on that to our simple mind, our intellectual mind, we may not be able to process or grasp it because it's so subtle. It lies in realms beyond the intellect, and therefore it would be hard to process. So this sutra is just taking us a little closer to that concept, helping us to understand it. And most importantly, I think it's telling us that vasanas are not random. I think that is such an important thing because very often, when we're going through life, we think things are just randomly happening. You feel a certain sense of uncertainty because we think that things are just, who is controlling it? What is what's going on? So this helps us to kind of have that sense of stability in a way that there is a greater scheme, a grander scheme of things that are going on, and it's not just out of control. I think one of the best quotes that I had read in one of our workshops with Oro Youth actually was where we studied that, even a twig doesn't move without the divine's permission or without its allowance. And I think that was such an amazing concept to really clarify this whole thing, where it says that there is a much deeper scheme at work that we perhaps do not understand yet, but that is kind of conducting this whole procedure. And therefore the vasanas come up in a particular sequence. We act them out in a particular sequence, and then we kind of choose our direction and where we want to go. Now the question comes then, do we have free will? So this is a very important question, and I think personally, again, this is a personal opinion, I think that we perhaps do have free will, but it's so conjoined with our destiny, with our guna balance and how we will tend to act. So it's honestly a really tight web of framework of our tendencies, our behaviors, our free will, our destiny, and also our karmas. So you can understand that it's a very tight mix of things, and sometimes a particular, I think, one of the elements takes over and leads the charge, and some other times another one does. But that's just something I've been pondering over, and I think it perhaps may be like that. But from the sutra's perspective, there is a structure and a very, very strong movement with which the vasanas take place. They come up in an order, and therefore it seems as if all this production, all this movement, all this clear design is being done for the sake of the other, which is the Purusha, so that the Chitta can realize the Purusha in time. Now, one very interesting example provided in the book was that sometimes when archaeologists find, say, the Harappan civilization or really interesting ancient civilizations with so much planning, with so much, organizational structure, the first thing they think about is, who were the people that made this? Who were the people that created this? What were their lives like? Who were they? And so, we are able to see that the creator and the creation are separate, two separate things in that instance. And so that sort of logic gets applied into this sutra, where they say that clearly the Chitta has been very smartly crafted and created. So it cannot be something so random. And if it has been smartly created, then who created it? How did it come about? And why are we going through the experience of it? And of course, the answer to the experience is that we go through the bhog and the experiences of life to then eventually go into the process of yoga and find that union and that completeness once again. So it's all about experience and then coming back home in a way. So this is all I'd say for Sutra 4.24. If you found the sutra helpful, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Drop your comments in the comments box below, and also please share this video if you find it helpful with your friends and your family. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we release a new video. Apart from that, we look forward to seeing you in a future class or workshop, the links to which are in the description, so you can feel free to sign up, join in for our classes, and we really look forward to seeing you then. Until then, take care, keep practicing, and we're going to see you very soon. Namaste.